y'all. Good morning. I hope y'all are ready for a great weekend and a happy Friday. So if you are catching me live, I want you to hashtag live. Sitting here eating my apples. But good morning, good morning. Say it back. Y'all know I don't like for y'all to just be watching and not say anything. So if you are catching me live, hashtag live and let me know where you are tuning in from. And if you catch the replay, hashtag replay and still let me know where you are tuning in from. I am just excited to take some time out and just talk to you guys tonight. I am pushing myself to go live a little bit more. So y'all don't see me going live. Say, LaVonda, get out your comfort zone because that's right where I will be. So a lot of you probably know me only on social media because I have been blessed to be able to build my businesses and my brand and use social media for my voice. So people seem to think that I am an extrovert, and I'm not. I'm an introvert, fake extrovert, right? So some people, I mean, there's so many different names for it, but I have struggled for so long going live on social media. And then I finally got out of my shell, and then my kids start getting older, and then there's always something, right? I gotta do this or do that. But when I have a good message, I like to go live. And I realized that YouTube is a great resource for me. And here lately, with almost 18,000, what do you call them? Followers, sorry, on TikTok, that has been a blessing to my business too. So people are now finding me on TikTok. They'll find me on YouTube, and I'm like, dang, people like to hear me speak, right? So I have to push myself out of my comfort zone. And I know that the only way that I can really help y'all is not by typing up a long post or any of that, but you guys actually listening and hearing from me, hearing the transparency, and know that I'm coming from a good place. Because I know that there are some people on social media that position themselves to be a know-it-all, and it could be borderline arrogant or judgmental. So I wanted to make sure that y'all know I'm not coming from that place. So shout out to each of you. And I really want to thank y'all for following me and encouraging me. I get the inbox messages, and I truly appreciate it. So I had a long conversation with my mentor. I talk to my mentor at least twice a week. And it's just been godsend. And it has taken my life to another level as far as entrepreneurship and building generational wealth, right? So I've always desired generational wealth. I always desired to create something where my future great, great, great grandchildren will reap the benefits of my labor, right? And of my financial decisions, as well as my entrepreneurship decisions, okay? Because what I'm doing today makes a difference for the generations coming behind me. I cannot be upset with the generations before me, but I'm responsible for what I create for what's coming behind me. How many of y'all like feel the same way? If you're a parent, you like, my kids will not struggle the way I did. Or if you're a grandparent, my grandkids won't struggle the way I did. Their children's children will have more. And that's where I come from. I didn't come from a silver spoon. I come from very humble beginnings. And I'm so grateful for my parents and their sacrifices. And they did the best they could with what they had. And I am always grateful for that. And you guys know, with every generation, there's always going to be more resources, more opportunities. And with the internet at our fingertips, y'all, we have the best advantage. You have absolutely no reason to say you can't do something, because you're just a Google search away from the solution. And a lot of people who discover me and the opportunity to join my businesses or either of my teams, which y'all know I'm in travel and I am in credit repair. And I also have opportunities where I teach people how to build their personal brand for whatever business on social media. But they're finding me because they're Googling it and YouTube are saying, go to Travel Queen. She might be able to help you. So you're just a resource away from truly changing your life. But I get a lot of people who are confused. They're like, what can I do with what I know? And a really good friend of mine, coworker of mine, or I should say ex-coworker, because y'all know I ain't had a job since 2016, but an ex-colleague of mine reached out and he was interested in booking a trip with me. And as I always do, I share the opportunity to turn it into your business. Here's why. Doesn't matter to me if you start a business or not. What does matter is that people know all of their options. So if you've ever reached out to me, you know I'm going to sell you the business first, because if you can save money and make money, why not? I would rather me tell you that and you tell me, no, I don't want to do that. You make the money off of what I could have done. Then I'm like, okay, I tried to tell you. I feel better about myself. And I know there are people out there that's in the same opportunities as I am, and they don't tell people how they could save money or make money doing it themselves. I'm not that person. I want to tell you, so if you find out later on what you missed out on, you can say, dang, Travel Queen tried to tell me. So I was having that conversation with him. I'm like, hey, I can book this trip for you and your wife, or you and your wife can take a look at this opportunity for yourselves. And so without knowing any information, he was like, oh, I really don't want to quit my job. I've done very well. I want, it's a stable income. And I'm like, you don't have to quit your job. Crazy. I didn't quit my job. So y'all know I've been full-time in my business, but it's because I was let go from my corporate job. But also because while I was working my job, I was building my business, not because I thought I was being laid off, not because I thought I was getting ready to quit, but because it just made sense. So my mentor shared this quote with me, or I should say this ideology or this thought. And I'm like, that's it, right? And it was, he said, you work your job to pay your bills, but you build a business to fund your dreams. Doesn't that make sense? I'm going to read that again because I always take notes when I talk to my mentor. But he said, work your job to pay your bills. Work your business to fund your dreams. That makes sense. So I have people who I am coaching and I am mentoring, and that is following my leadership, and they work jobs and they have their business. How many of you guys are like that? Like, you have a job and you have a business. Say that's me in the comments. If you have a job and you have a business, no matter if it's a traditional business, a network marketing business, a side hustle, a hobby that you get paid money, whatever that may be. If you have a job and you're doing something extra to bring in additional income, say that's me. That's a lot of people nowadays, especially after the pandemic. People are realizing you can't just rely on one income, okay? Y'all following me so far? So people struggle. They're like, Wanda, how is it that I can go to my job and work no problem? 9 to 5, 8 to 6, 10 to 6, whatever the schedule may be. But then I struggle having that same drive or that same focus in my business. How many of you can relate? You could say, I can relate. Like, you don't have a problem waking up, getting dressed, driving in traffic, clocking in, actually doing some work. Some of y'all ain't working, okay? Actually doing some work, clocking out for lunch, eat your lunch if you're eating a lunch, because I know I didn't always take my lunch breaks. Clock back in, do some more work, clock out, drive in traffic, go home, Now you're tired. It's like, that's it. I don't have time to look at this business. That can wait. I got to get up early. Tomorrow I have a meeting. Like, you're still thinking about your job after work. So I will help y'all. Let me tell you, I worked for 2 years while building my business. So some people who just start following me, they're like, oh, girl, you're full time. You can't relate. You're not working a job. Let me remind y'all, when I started my business, Kalia Bush, also known as Yaya, was only 1. Josiah was 2. Ty was 15, almost 16. And I was working a very high level, demanding corporate job in the oil industry, okay, where my job required that I travel. So even being a mom of 2 babies and a teenager, having a busy schedule, being married and having to, also manage my household, I had a lot going on. But this is it right here. Although I was earning 6 figures in corporate America, I still couldn't see myself obtaining my dream life with my job income. And so that gave me the motivation that in addition to my job, I needed to build my business. And once I made a commitment to build my business and take it serious, because if I can commit all that time, and for me, some of y'all just commuting to work and back home. I was commuting early to drop kids off to the babysitter and then going to work and then getting off and then picking kids up from the babysitter and then coming home and then having to hurry up and get ready and then having to go to a football game or a basketball game or a track meet for Ty, right? And then still having to say, I have a business to run. But I had made a decision that my business would one day free me from corporate America. Okay, one day. I didn't even set a date. I just knew one day I am not going to have to answer to anyone else. I will have my own schedule. I will be able to build the business of my dreams. But the key is, y'all, I had to create a schedule, even with being a mom and having a job. And the problem was that because no one was my boss, I didn't have any requirements, no quotas, none of that set forth by anyone else other than myself. It was easy to say, oh, I'm tired. I'll worry about that tomorrow, right? Who's going to fire me? I could easily say, I've had enough for the day, burned out, can't do it. But how many of you all are willing to admit that you have gone to your job tired? Say, I can. You can admit it, right? Yeah, that's you. Say, that's me. You've gone to work on a holiday. You've missed family events, right? Maybe you've woke up with a headache, but that didn't keep you from going to your job. So I remember having this aha moment like, girl, if you could do that for somebody else, you can do all that for yourself. And so I made a schedule that I knew that I could commit to. I looked at my schedule to see what can I cut out and replace with job or business activity, okay? And I had to let my job go after I left my job because I had a job where I had a company phone, always had access to email. People always had access to me for text messaging and all that. I started leaving my job phone in my briefcase until I was disciplined enough to say, don't check an email, don't check a text message. This is not your job time. This is travel queen time. And that helped me. And if I scheduled to work my business from 9 p.m. to midnight, because that was just realistic for me, with making sure I cooked, had the kids in bed, they're out the way. Right now, I could focus. Those were my normal hours for my business. And I made sure that I was showing up from 9 to midnight. Then I didn't work weekends on my job. So then I started committing more hours on Saturdays. I would get up early on a Saturday, like 8 o'clock in the morning, and work until 12 to 1 o'clock p.m. And sometimes it would be from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. travel queen time. Sundays, we would get up, go to church. After church, we would normally go out to eat. I talked to my husband. I'm like, babe, I need to commit some of this time to my business because I don't have a lot of time during the week. So start cutting out, eating out after church and start working my business, committing. Some of you guys are missing that. But why is it hard to do that? And it's because you're not dreaming. Like you have to set a goal for what would be worth you doing that. So then where you have time, okay, on this day and this time, I'm going to work my business. And then somebody call you like, girl, let's go to happy hour. I need a drink. You're like, okay, I could do that tomorrow. Your dream isn't big enough. Your vision isn't big enough, right? Your goals aren't big enough. Because if you had a clear vision for where you want to go, happy hour can wait. Like one day, y'all gonna be having happy hours that are all inclusive on a Tuesday because you'll be a full-time boss, right? Those are the visions that I had. And I knew that in order for me to really get where I needed to be, I had to cut some things off and some people off. I had to turn the TV off. I used to watch all the reality shows, and I do mean all of them. Cut it out for the sake of my business so that I could focus during those times where I used to watch TV. I'm like, okay, now these are hours that I can work and focus on my business since I don't have a lot of free time. So work your job to pay the bills. Y'all, don't be ashamed to be an entrepreneur with a job. Don't be ashamed. I was proud when I was working and building my business, and everybody knew it because I never hid the fact that I had a job and I was building my business. Nothing wrong with that. If you have a solid, secure income coming from your job, that is a relief, right? I didn't quit my job. I was let go from my job. So work your job with integrity. Do your best. Don't be over there like not working your job, working your business on your job. Give your job your best because that's your for sure money, okay? While you are building your brand, while you are building your business. And then when you are building your business, give your business the same respect you give your job, okay? Period. If you don't have to call in from your job, you don't do it, right? You're like, dang, I should just let me go to work so my check not short, so that I'm not getting written up, so that I don't look like I'm lazy or not doing. So do that for you. Because I was like that, y'all. It took me like an alter ego check. I started treating Travel Queen like my boss. Like, whew, girl, not feeling it today. Travel Queen looking like, you better be feeling it, right? This is grind time. So what would I do? What would I do if it were a job? I started asking myself that. Is this something that I would call my boss on my job and call in for? I got a headache today. I'm not coming in. No, I would just go in. I would have a drawer of Advil. And look, y'all, in my home office, I got a drawer of Advil. I treat it just like I did my job. If I have to, if I had, a deadline or something on my job, I knew that I needed to show up a little bit early because I have more responsibility to make sure it's done before I clock out. Same thing with the business. If I know that I have a little bit more to do, I'm getting up earlier to get it done. I'm staying up later to get it done. I'm not taking any phone calls that I know not making me any money to get it done, right? I have to say no to my kids for certain things because I have a deadline. It's my business. So I'm going to challenge y'all to go out, and if you're working your job, keep your job and pay your bills. But make sure you have a business to build your dreams. If you haven't found the business yet that you're like, okay, this can take me where I need to, you need to be in my inbox so I can help you, okay? You get to decide how much or how little you work, how much or how little you earn. You get a chance to decide all of that. It's totally up to you. My job is to help you identify if this is the right business for you. I'm not a pushy salesperson. Okay. So people who know me know that. I'm not a pushy leader, none of that. I'm gonna help you reach the dreams and the goals that you set forth, right? Whatever that success looks like. Some people, it's like, I just want a little extra. I just want a couple $100 a month. Some people like, no, I need a few $1,000s a month. Some people like, I need to replace my job. And some are like, I am ready for life changing income. I am ready to do what I need to do so that I don't ever have to work a job again, which is why I hadn't gone back to corporate America. However, I have had business partners, I have had friends who have had a period of time where they were full-time entrepreneurs and realized they had to go back to work. And I would have a conversation with them, go back to work. Go back to work, right? Because you will not be able to build your business peacefully, successfully, if you're stressed out, because then it's going to be out of desperation, and people can sense if you are genuine or if you are just flat out desperate. So after I lost my job and I talked to my husband, because I couldn't make that decision on my own, it would have affected our family in such a way, right? Losing this income. Well, my business was not earning the same amount of income as I had earned on my job. And because I had a stable job, I wasn't spending my business income. So when I was let go from corporate America, we had savings. I also received a severance package from my job. And I had to look, my husband and I had to look, what can we cut out? I let my car go. I didn't have a car for a year. I also cut the babysitter, childcare. We didn't need that. I was a full-time mom. That was an extra $2,000 a month savings, right? So we looked at different things that, as a sacrifice, was going to help keep me from going back to get a job so that I can focus on my business to get that income where I needed to be. And it took me over a year to fully replace the job income that I had lost. A whole year and a half. Like it didn't happen overnight like I thought it would, you guys. It did not. And so everyone's situation is different. But had there been any type of shake in the finances or anything like that, I would have went back to work happily. I would have, and still worked that job and built my business until I got it to a place where I didn't have to go back to corporate America. Now, obviously, when I start earning six figures for myself without a boss, without a job, with just 1099s, I knew I would never go back to corporate America. And I'm grateful. This year I celebrated 5 years since I was let go, in 2016. So I want you guys to be empowered and inspired. And I want you guys to just go out there, keep your job, and build a business. Somebody say that in the comments. Keep your job and build a business. My sister in success, power coach, she actually helped me with that message. We would give out these presentations and teach people about their finances and how to become an entrepreneur, why it's important to never rely on a job. But we never bash jobs, even both of us coming from corporate America. And we will tell folks, listen, keep your job, build a business. Lose the job, you have your business. Even if your business is not earning as much as your job, you still have a cushion, because most people have a job, lose the job, and have to wait for the government to cut them an unemployment check. Okay? Now all the bailouts are going away. You know, y'all was spoiled for the pandemic. There were extensions for your car note, your insurance, your mortgage, your phone bills, all that. COVID, it's COVID related. COVID related. People were giving you forgiven, am I saying it right? They were forgiving your lateness, or they were excusing your late fees and all of that. Those things are going away, right? People are having to go back to the office. No more working from home. But I'm so glad y'all got a chance to peek into some of our lives who have been working full time from home anyway, because you know what? It showed you that you could do it. I've been homeschooling my children for 4 years. Guess what? Some of you realize your kids are okay being homeschooled. Awesome. I'm so glad the pandemic happened to show y'all. But get this, stimulus checks, they're going to be going away. What is your backup? Use that assistance and that help to save, but also to invest in a business, because things are going back to normal. Guess what? You're going to have your own personal pandemic. You're going to have your own personal situation that's going to shut you down. I experienced that. When I was laid off in 2016, there was no financial crisis. There was no pandemic. It was just a normal oil and gas, up and down, company, up and down. We got to save money. We're going to let you go. Guess what? Still the same situation, pandemic or no pandemic, right? So you have to be prepared. So I hope this was a good message. I hope that this helped someone. If it did, let me know in the comments. If you're not, bold enough to say this, help me in the comments. You can inbox me if you're interested in learning how you can set yourself up to keep your job and build a business. You need to be in my inbox. I love y'all, and I hope you have a great day.